It's strength in finding resilience beyond your circumstances. What is up, you guys? I'm Zakia Monet, and welcome to the Finding Your Way podcast, where we share stories about hardships and share ways to not let our circumstances define us. Like you, we just here to find our way. We are back with another episode. Hi. You guys, we are back. We're back with another episode. I am Zakia Monet. I go by Zakia Monet on all social media platforms. And we are back with another episode. I hope you guys love the intro. I hope you guys, got the feel of the pod of what we'll be talking about, what we'll be discussing. This episode will be about the whole healing process when it comes to the death surrounded by losing a child. So I think I mentioned in the first pod that I did have my first child I had at the age, I got pregnant with her at 16, and I got pregnant with her at 15, but I had her at 16. And so I basically, told you guys I lost her when she was a month years old. When she was a month. And so she had this thing called, I don't even know whether it's a disease. I still struggle with whether it's a disease or whether it's like, how you have those them terms. I don't know. But she passed from a thing. I don't even want to call it a thing. She passed from something called the hyphenated word or version is CDH, short for congenital diaphragmatic hernia, and she had it on the left side because it's a left or right, and that's basically when it's a hole in the diaphragm pushing everything up into the chest cavity, of not allowing your lungs room to grow. So that's what she had, and then she passed. Her on the death certificate, it's classified as her passing from hypertension, which is basically elevated blood pressure and all of that stuff. So it was a high risk thing from the gate. Not a lot of kids are able to survive it, but there are kids from the groups that I've been in and joined. There are kids who have made it past one and who are living I wouldn't say regular lives. It might be some children out there that's living regular lives, but it's still children out there who still have to just deal with the after effects and deal with the symptoms and deal with the things that come with it. But it does have a high risk rate. And so I knew I had it. I knew from the beginning that I would be facing a challenge. I just didn't know we all don't know the journey of it. And so I got pregnant at 15, had her at 16. So at 15, I'm learning about all these things and learning about all these symptoms and possible options that I would have to go through. Because as soon as I would have her, it was said that I would have had to have surgery as soon as she came out. I would have had to have surgery as soon as she came out. So, it was basically a lot of back and forth, whether it was about where I'll be having her, whether it's how I'll be having her, whether it will be C-section or actual pushing her out, whether I will be early or late. I knew I wouldn't carry her to 40. Well, I knew I wouldn't carry her past 40 because it had to be, we was basically on a time crunch. And so as we were discussing these things, it got so far out to even me having to possibly travel to Belgium. What is I know Belgian waffles, but that was foreign to me. I didn't Belgium just because we didn't have the state that I live in. We don't have all the things that you would need to take care of a child as soon as they came out that had CDH. So it was they have a lot of things now, which is so they have a lot of things now, which is so, I don't want to say crazy, but it's crazy to me. They have a lot of things now to be better equipped with it, but it's we didn't have anything that would help me with her as far as that. So we had to travel to the next day. Determining that I would have to travel the next state over to have her, which would be Durham, which was Durham. So that was that. Yeah, that was a pretty. I'm just digging right into it. We're just getting right into it. I just want y'all to get the full picture before I discuss my feelings and how I'm dealing with everything. So I just want y'all to know like what led up to everything. So, yeah, so I ended up having her in Durham, but the pregnancy was, as far as the pregnancy went, I didn't really have any complications. As well, I ain't gonna get into that right now, but I didn't have like, as far as her and the pregnancy went, like I really didn't have any, like I didn't have any trouble like with her, like being pregnant with her. It's like, I don't know. But it wasn't situations where I had to go to the hospital just because like I didn't feel like she was moving. So I was really like nervous. Like being a teenage mom, that's scary all in itself. And then being a teenage mom and then pregnant with a child that has this defect, like that's scary. Like just think about it. Like just actually think about it. Like you're still a baby yourself. You're still a baby yourself, and then you got two things you gotta deal with. That's scary. So like a lot of things, like if I didn't feel her moving at a certain time, when if I feel like she wasn't moving long enough for me or throughout the day, I was getting checked out. Like that's just what it was. But as far as like anything else, like she was like, I didn't have no trouble with that pregnancy at all. But the trouble came after. So I had to be induced on January 7th. My due date was January 10th, but I was induced January 7th. So I was induced on the 7th. I got there at 5. Well, I was scheduled to be there at 5:30. So we got there. I'm getting induced, doing all these things, getting hooked up to everything, getting my epidural, getting the balloon put up thing, and all those things. So that day was pretty, that day was pretty like chill. Nothing really major happened. Everything happened the next morning. So the next morning I was fully dilated. I had her at 8:42 a.m. My pumpkin. I'm probably gonna insert a video or a picture of her because I want y'all to see her face. Like when y'all see me, I want y'all to see her, because a lot of the times, like I'm gonna mention this later on in the video too, a lot of times for me, like I just don't be feeling like I'm just now getting to the point where I say I have 2 kids, because now I just said I have 1. And it was like I only tell people now that I have 1. Well, I was only, not now, but I was only telling people that I had 1 child just because like I didn't want to get into the whole what happened and just bring up those emotions all over again every time with people, if that makes sense. So I just only said I had 1 child, but now I tell everybody I got 2 kids. Like people that know me like from social media, they know I had 2 kids, but people that don't know me, who asked me out in the world, like I just said I was just saying I had 1 kid, and it was just because of that. Like I didn't feel like I had the energy to even explain like everything, because I still feel like I don't fully know. As much research that I did while I was pregnant, I still feel like there's a lot of things that I don't know about that, and it's just like I'm learning everything through the groups that I'm in. So yeah, so I had her 8:42. I had to have her in a like a surgical area, just because like she was so delicate. Like she couldn't be around like anything that could be a possible infection. I only could have 1 person in the room. Y'all, you know what? I said I didn't have no trouble being pregnant with her. I did. I lied. I really did. The trouble wasn't even coming from her. It was coming from the outside. It was coming from the outside, like whether it was like what the baby name would be. Because I'm young, so I'm looking like I'm young, but it's just like I'm looking to my parents, like for advice, or looking to them to like, I guess, make decisions, which in the end, I feel like I shouldn't have did that because, like, at the end of the day, it's supposed to be from you, between you and your kid's dad. So I do feel like I dropped the ball in that area. So it was a situation with the last names, situation with, like, everything was a situation. Everything was a situation, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that in another pod, because that's a lot. That was a lot. But yeah, I had her at 8:42. So we're going back to the story. I had her at 8:42 a.m. The prettiest thing I ever laid my eyes on. I'm trying to get emotional because that was just like, I'm just like, I realized, like, I never really talk about sentimental moments ever until years later. Like, I've been talking to my therapist because I'm in therapy now, y'all. Therapy matters. So I realized, like, when I was talking to my therapist, like, when I talk to her about certain things, I realized, like, I've never spoken on the things that I've been through for real. Like, I've never really spoken on the things that I've been through in depth. I probably spoke on it, but I never spoke on it in depth. Like, if they happen, they happen. Like, I mentioned it one time, and then that's it. Like, years can go by and I can never mention it. So, like, for this is like the first time of me going into depth and just thinking about the day-to-day of what happened and what led up to her passing. And so it's just like so emotional for me, and I'm trying not to cry because I'm not trying to cry on this camera. Y'all won't get me. Y'all won't get me. But I do have to realize this is just like a safe space, and this is just like me being vulnerable, and this is just like, I just need this. This is another part of my therapy for me, I feel like. So yeah, she was just the prettiest little thing. Like, her jaws was just so chunky like mine. Like, she just looked like me. She looked like me, and like, I only saw me. Like, when I look at my baby pictures, I only see me. Like, I probably put up a baby picture of me, but like, she was just the prettiest thing. But I remember, like, not being able to hear her scream, and not be, you know how, like, when you have women that've had kids, or women, like, in general, because you know, so women, like, after you have a baby, the first thing they do is cry. So when I pushed her out, like, I didn't hear anything. So I'm alert, because I'm going from drowsy to being alert, because, like, I don't hear my baby crying. But there was you have to get the blood out of their throat, out of their. It's something you gotta do. It's something you gotta do. But they had to suction her and take her straight to the NICU. Was it NICU or PICU? I think she went to PICU first, because she was going back and forth between the areas. Like, she was going from PICU to NICU, and there was another area she was going into when she had to get into the she had to get a transfusion, or when she had to get on the ECMO machine. And so the ECMO machine is really a thing where they have to connect it to your veins, or connect it somewhere in here, and you have to, it's the whole process even with that. So after I had her, they shot her there, so they took me immediately to my room, because I had to get cleaned up and I had to do all that other stuff. So they waited. They took me back to my room. They took her immediately to her room where she would be at, because they had to hurry up and get her connected to all the machines and everything that she had to be connected to in order to live and survive throughout the night. And so that was the first night. So the second night, I went in to get a checkup and report. This was my first time seeing her ever. Well, not the first time seeing her. This was my first time being able to be with her in her space after I had her. So it was so emotional for me. But I wasn't, like, I don't cry. Like, for some reason, I cry. I'm a very emotional person. Like, y'all gonna find it out. Y'all gonna find out that about me really, like, quick. Like, I'm very emotional. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Like, you'll know if I'm feeling some type of way about something. You probably can see it on my face, or you probably can hear it in my throat, in my voice. But I won't, like, actually speak on it right then. Like, my problem is I let stuff build up, and so I'm working on that. But the next day, this was my first time seeing her, like, after I had her. So I had to wash up, and you go through the whole process of washing up and putting on your gowns and all this other stuff. So I'm getting the reports from the nurses and whoever's looking after her for that shift, and she had a beautiful night. She had an amazing night. She did better than I expected the first night. And so in my mind, from what I was told, the goal was to have surgery or the procedure to fix the hole, or to fix everything whenever she was better, whenever she had a good night, or whenever she had a good, like, if everything was good. From what I was told, after I had her, she would have the surgery the next day. And so that didn't happen, and there was a lot of frustration with that doctor. I'm not gonna say his name because I still know his name to this day, and I still look to see if he worked there. But even with, like, it was just a lie, y'all. It was just a lie. Like, it was just a lie. Like, when I'm actually thinking, like, it was a lie. And you don't really think about it until, like, after everything happens. Like, you're just dealing with everything in the moment, and you don't really think about it after it happens. But it was a lie. Like, I'm 16. I was a baby. Like, I'm a baby having to take all of this in. And it's just, like, I should have, like, my mind should have been gone a long time ago. And it's just, like, I'm still staying, I'm still here. And I just thank nobody but God for that. But yeah, that next day I got the report and all that other stuff. She had a beautiful night. And so I was just, it was just, that day was just me interacting with her, and just, just like tending to my kid. Because I'm a mommy now. Like, that was just that time. And it was just like, I spent time with my baby, and, that was that. It's not going to be a long drawn out story because I don't want y'all to be bored with my story. So I want y'all to just get the picture and get the idea of, like, this whole thing. So yeah, the first night she had a beautiful night. The next couple of days, but off and on, she, like, every other day she had a bad night. Every other day she had a bad night. Like, it got to the point where I would get a call probably twice throughout the night to tell all the family members to come up because it wasn't looking good. Like, I remember one time, mind you, this whole, like, I'm skipping steps, but this whole time she's going from NICU to PICU to, I don't know if it was a third one though. Because it was an area specifically specifically for when she had to do the ECMO, where she had to be on the ECMO machine. And so when she was on the ECMO machine, the risk of that is bleeding on the brain. And so I remember it was one night or one day where I had to, I got a call saying that I had to call all the family members because it wasn't looking good. And this happened more than one time. This was like, I think it happened twice. And they told me to call all the family members up there because it wasn't looking good. She was bleeding on her brain, and so they were monitoring it. They were putting her on a different, they were putting her on something else. I forget everything because I forget all the machines she was hooked up to. I forget all the medicine she had. I know she was on blood thinners. I know she was on a lot of stuff, but it's just like, I don't remember all the stuff, but I know they told me to call everybody because it wasn't looking too good. So I called everybody. This happened 2 times. So I called everybody. They put us all in the conference room with the parents and the grandparents. They put us all in the conference room, and they was just telling us basically to prepare to lose her and all this other stuff. So we had to go through. Well, I'm just focusing on me. So I'm just like, I'm dealing with these emotions all like back to back to back. Like, I'm dealing with these emotions, like, not knowing if my child is gonna live throughout the night, or like trying to figure out like what does it actually mean for me, because like I said, like I'm a baby, so I'm having to figure these things out and figure out like what I'm gonna do without my baby. Like, this is my baby. Never once did I think about giving her up. Never once did I think about aborting her. Like, that wasn't an option for me. Like, this is mine. Like, I was willing to do whatever it took. Like, that's just what it was. So going through these emotions and thinking about everything and like taking in what the doctor is saying. So yeah, that happened twice, and then both times she came out like my girl was that girl. Like, you couldn't play with her. Like, my girl was that girl. Like, she came out every time. Like, every time something they thought they was gonna go wrong, God said, that's mine. And he didn't play about her. So that's just what it was. So those 2 nights, like, well, not those 2 nights, but every time, like, we got a call like that, like, throughout the night, I would call in, because I had to, being that I didn't stay in Durham, I had to stay at the Ronald McDonald House. And so I would call up there or whatever, and see how she was doing. If I didn't spend a night that night, I would call up there and see how she was doing. But anytime that she had a scare like that, I stayed up there. But any other night after that, I just went back to the Ronald McDonald House, and I would just call and check up on her like that. So fast forward, this is like, mind you, I had her January 7th. She passed on the 4th of February. This was around the Super Bowl time. I remember like it was yesterday. So I'm skipping a lot of, like, this is not a lot of weeks going on, you know. So within this time span, she had 2 scares, which was the bleeding on the brain. And so, you know, like every other night she had a scare, and then every other night, like I said, every other night she got scared, and then every other night she'll be fine. And so it was like a constant up and down battle each day. So after a while, she was fine for the next couple of days. So I'm fast forwarding it to the day that I got the call. So mind you, like I said, I was staying at the Ronald McDonald House, which wasn't far at all from the it wasn't far from the hospital, but I will still need to have took a shuttle bus just to get there. So I got the call Super Bowl night. It was Super Bowl night that Sunday. The next day, Monday, February 4th. That was on Monday. My voice about to start getting dry because I'm about to start, feeling it. So hopefully I don't cry, because I don't want to cry while I'm saying it. I want y'all to hear what I'm saying, because when I cry like when I cry, it's not a cute cry. It's not cute. Ain't nothing cute about it. So I'm trying to keep it cute. Give me a second. So yeah, that day, February 4th, mind you, like, throughout this time, the dad was, like, in and out of jail. It basically is just me. My mom was a big person, and his sister, one of his sisters were, his older sister was there with me. And at this time that she passed, his older sister was the one staying with me at the Ronald McDonald House, because, like I said, I'm 16, well, how old was I? I'm 16 when I had her, because my birthday just passed. Got pregnant at 15, had her at 16. So I'm 16 at this point. I'm a minor. You can't stay at the Ronald McDonald House as a minor by yourself. So I had to have somebody of age. So she was staying with me at the time. My mom had to go back to work. So it's me and her. So I get a call. I'm trying to think if my mom called me or was it the hospital, because I think I missed calls. I had 2 missed calls from the hospital. I think my mom called me to wake me up. Her number was on there as a contact. So hold on, y'all. I told y'all, like, I'm an ugly crier, so I'm trying to cry on camera because y'all won't get me. Oh my god. Because it's just like, people who say it gets easier with time, like, could be true for a lot of other people, but for me, like, I just don't feel like it gets better with time. Like, I just feel like you learn to live and you learn to accept what happens, but you never get over it ever. I don't know if it's like just the loss of a child, or I don't know if it's anybody else. Just like I just don't know, but I just know with a child, for me, like I never, like I'm able to live and I'm able to get day by day without being emotional or even thinking about it, and just like getting through my day, trying to survive. Like that's just what I'm doing, surviving. I feel like lately I've just been surviving and just like trying to go in that mold, to a shell, to just like hibernate from all the bullshit. Like, it's like for me, like time didn't heal shit. Like, it's just like you learn to live with it. Like, you learn to accept like she's gone. But like how do you, I just don't get it. But anyway, so I had two missed calls from the hospital, and then I ended up finally hearing the phone from my mom. So I'm answering the phone, and she was just like, I don't even remember if she was in panic. I don't remember how her tone of voice was. I don't remember none of that. I just remember her telling me the hospital been trying to call you. You need to go up there and see what's going on. And I don't even know at that time if they told her everything. So I'm trying to remember if they told her everything, and I don't remember what state she was in, what kind of mental state she was in. I just remember her telling me to go there or whatever, and to take the next shuttle bus, because the shuttle bus will come. It will come at like 5 a.m., 7, like every 2 hours it will come. So I got on I woke her sister up, and we got up. I just threw something on. And waited for the shuttle to come. So the shuttle finally came. We get up there. I'm dragging, like, we get up there. We finally get in. I just remember all the lights at the hospital being off. I think because it was just like, they're trying to wind down all the patients and all the other stuff, put it in a nighttime move or whatever. But the lights was off. No, I think it was a power outage or something. I don't know. It wasn't a power outage. It had to be something, because I remember our lights being off. But the lights are off. So we're going up to the I think she was in PICU. So we're going up to PICU. And was it PICU? It had to be in PICU. Yeah, it was PICU. So I remember we passed the room, one of the rooms that we were in, we got to do like little arts and crafts for the babies, for them to have a shirt or something for when they came home or something like that. And me and my mom did a shirt for my baby, and I think I still have it. I'm gonna have to show y'all. But yeah, because we passed that room. Yeah, yes it was. So we passed that room, washing up and doing all the procedures and all that other stuff. So like I'm struggling at this point. Like I'm struggling. So after we wash up, we're going to the room. But the walk to my baby's room felt so long, or my baby's space, it felt so long. Like it just felt like, how you feel like you're moving in slow motion and everybody is just passing you by, and it just felt like that. But when I curved to her room, all I could hear was everything going off, and I knew it was coming from her room. So everything is going off, and everything is going off. I hear everything going off from the heart monitors and all of the other stuff. All the stuff is going off. All the doctors and nurses are rushing in and out of her room, doing whatever they can. Matter of fact, I think they did tell her over the phone what was going on, because I think she was trying to figure out how she was trying to get back up here. She was trying to get up. She was calling everybody and then getting back up there. So so I'm walking to her room. Like I said, like it just felt like I was just moving in slow motion. and it felt like her room was so far away. It just felt like, I don't know if I was moving in slow motion or if it felt like her room was so far away, but it just felt so far. And I feel like I was probably dragging and dreading like everything. Also, keep in mind, no, I ain't gonna say that yet, but yeah. So I feel like I was dragging. I probably was dragging. So I get to the room. I finally get to the room and I'm already crying. Like, but it's not like a heavy cry. It's just like tears are rolling down my face. But I finally get into the room and I'm just looking at her. And I'm just looking at everything, and it's just like I'm confused. Like, I don't know what's going on for real. Like, I ain't talked to nobody yet, and it's just like, I don't know. I'm just staring at her bed, and I'm just watching them work on her. I'm just watching him do whatever they're doing on to her. And so one of the doctors ended up coming up to me, and letting me know so the doctor is coming up to me and he's talking, but I don't hear what he's saying. Like, I don't know, like, he's talking to me, but I don't know what he's saying until he said, we're trying everything that we can. We're trying everything that we can. We're doing everything that we can. Like, that's all I heard. He said a lot, but that's all I heard. So I think he was trying to explain to me what was going on and what happened, what changed throughout the night. So I'm just telling him to help her, so they're doing whatever they're doing. They're trying to help her. They're doing the resuscitation stuff. They're trying to bring her back and all this other stuff. And I just remember sitting on that chair crying, like, just crying because I felt so bad for her. I just felt so bad for her. Like a baby having to go through all of that with the machines, with the machines constantly being poked. Like, you can't even eat regular food. You gotta eat from a tube. You can't even pee. Like you can't even just, like, you, like, she was just help like she and it's just like the world's, like, how this gonna sound so cliche, but I just feel like the world just stopped and I didn't see nothing but the lights going on and off. I didn't see anything, but like, that's all I saw. So I'm just sitting there crying and watching them, like, trying to help my baby, but nothing was working. The machines were still going off. The machines were still going off, and nothing that they was doing was working. But in my mind, that wasn't it. Because, like, in my mind, she got through it before, she can get through it now. So, so yeah, that was my thinking process. Like, she did it. Like, my girl is a girl. Like, she's gonna get through this. She's gonna be fine. And I'm gonna be holding her hand. and it's just gonna be okay. Like, it's gonna be okay. I'll be able to calm her down like I always do. I'll be able to calm her down. Everything's gonna be okay. We gonna get through it. I'm gonna take my baby home. I'm gonna take my baby home. And I'm gonna be a mom. And I'm gonna do everything I need to do for my baby. I'm gonna be able to do whatever I need to do for my baby. Like, that was just my mindset. Just God, let her be okay. Just let her get through this, whatever it is. Like, just I'm gonna get to the bottom of whatever it was later. Just let her be okay. Like, that's just all that was going through my mind. But after a while, like, they just stopped. They just stopped and they called it. They called it. They stopped working. They stopped helping my baby. They stopped. They stopped helping my baby. And when they stopped helping her, I'm just looking like, what are y'all doing? Like, what are y'all doing? And he's walking up to me. That's the same doctor told him he was talking to me before. The same one that walked up to me. I'm trying to get to the damn story. Y'all, I'm trying. Like I said, like, I don't talk about things like till, like, I don't know when's the last time I talked about this in depth like this. Like, but I know I needed this. I know I needed it because I don't talk about it. I don't talk about it because, like, I feel like in my mind, it's just like everybody goes through shit. Like, everybody got their own shit going on. So it's just like, what are you crying for? Like, but then I gotta realize, like, I gotta have some type of grace for myself because I've been through a lot of shit. So I do need to have some grace, but it's just like, how I think it's just like everybody is going through something worse than what you're going through. There's somebody out there that's going through something so much worse than what I've been through. But it's just, like, you can't, like, you're entitled to cry. I just don't know why I don't do it. I don't know why I don't talk about it. And I just feel like sometimes I don't have enough time to cry because I have another kid and I don't want him to feel like, I don't want him to feel like I don't love him as much as I love her. I don't want him to feel like she was more important, or I don't want him to feel like he's less than. Like, I struggle with that. Like, that's why I don't speak on a lot of stuff. I try not to harbor over that. There might be another reason why I don't tell everybody that I got another kid. Especially when he's around, like, that's probably why I don't say it, because I know, like, the effect that it probably could have on the kid. And I just don't want him to feel like I love him any less than I love her, or I'm too emotional to take care of him. I just don't want that on him. So I don't know, but anyway, get it together, girl. Get it together, girl. Ooh, get it together, girl. But anyway, yeah, so the doctor came up to me the same way who was telling me everything when I first walked in. He came up to me and he was just like, he was just like, he was like, basically she's gone, and you know, the whole, I'm sorry, we did everything, that whole thing, we did everything we could do, and all that stuff. It's just like, my whole world just stopped. Like, it was, I couldn't do nothing but look at her. I couldn't do nothing but look at her. So, let me get this story up so I can get to the healing part. Well, yeah, that part. So, today everybody, they leave the room, all doctors and nurses leave the room, tell me they're sorry, or whoever, like, you know, do that whole thing. And then I was finally able to hold her. This is the first time ever. This is the first time. Mind you, I never got to hold my baby, ever. After I pushed her, she went straight to NICU. So I never got a chance to hold her, ever. I could never pick her up. I could never hold her. All she was doing was laying in the crib, and that's it. So this was the first time I got to hold my baby. This was the first time. So it's so bittersweet because it was like, she's gone, but I'm holding my baby. Like, my baby. So I'm just looking at her. I'm touching her. I'm just touching her face, and all my just, I know she was just so wet because all my tears were just getting like all over her body. Like, I was just looking and observing. I was touching her hair, and I was just touching everything there, everywhere she was poked at, every I was just touching everything. Like, I was just touching everything, kissing on her, holding her hand, and I was just doing all of that. And so as I'm holding her, like, I just closed my eyes for a second, and I swear, like, I told the story one time, but I swear, when I closed my eyes, I could just see her, I could just see her say, bye-bye, mommy. Like, I'm like, I still see that. I can see that clear as day, still to this day. So it was just, and it made me cry even more. So I was just like, I was a mess. So, I'm trying to get myself together, y'all. So yeah, that was how I lost my baby. So, as far as the healing process goes, I think after today, I can honestly say I'm still dealing with it. I'm still dealing with it. Like, I'm still dealing with it. Like, every birthday, every, like, death date, like, I'm just still dealing with it. And I can honestly say I don't know when I'll ever be okay, but I know I'm living for her and for my son, and I know, like, her name is not going to go in vain. I know that she'll forever be a part of me. Like, that will be forever. That will be forever a part of my story. Like, she will forever be a part of my testimony. She will forever be a part of the woman that I am, or the woman that I'm becoming. Like, that will forever be my girl. Forever. Like, I will forever include her in how many kids that I have. Like, here or not. Like, that's my baby. I could never, like, even when I was telling people, like, I only had one kid, I still felt bad because it's like, girl, you had 2 kids. Like, that's still your baby, whether she's here or not. So, like, my advice for anybody who's dealing with a child that has passed, or who's dealt with a child that's passed, or who's dealing with a child that's sick, love on them like they're here. If they're still here, love on them. Just love on them so much. Like, don't take that time for granted. Never, never, ever, ever take that time for granted. Love on them while they're here. If they have passed, love on them like they're still here. Don't let their name go when they go. Like, just love on them like they still here. Still talk to them, because I still talk to her. I'd be like, girl, what are you doing? Like, do you see this stuff? Like, I be talking to her like she's my homegirl. Like, I still be talking. I know, like, it feel like I be crazy, but I know I'm not crazy. But I just still, like, I still hold on to the fact, like, she was here for a reason. She taught me something. I still don't know what it is that she's taught me fully, but I know, like, she's a part of me becoming the woman that I am. She's the reason that I matured at a young age. She's the reason why, like, I'm going so hard the way I'm going, the way I'm, like, I just feel like she's part of my purpose. She's part of my why. And so my advice will also to be, if you don't journal. I feel like it helps in so many ways. Or if you journal, or if you want to, you can write a letter to your loved one. You can write a letter, read it to them, go to a special place, read it to them. You can either put it in a balloon and let it go, or burn it, or just, just read it to keep it. Read it to them and keep it. And then you can do that every year of the birthdays or death dates or things like that. But honestly, I'm not going to tell you it gets better with time or it gets easier with time. You just learn to deal. That's just what I've learned. You just learn to deal. You just learn to, you take one day at a time. You go day by day. It doesn't get easier with time. Whoever said that, I. It doesn't get easier with time. You just learn to deal. Honestly. That's honestly what I've got from that. You just learn to deal. Like, you'll be okay. I feel like as long as you continue living for them and continue, like, do something, like, whether it's starting a nonprofit, whether it's doing something for kids that have been through what you've been, like, who have dealt with what your child has, or no matter what it is, no matter what your child passed from, I feel like when you give back and do stuff like that, I feel like that heals a part of you. I honestly feel like it heals a part of you. If you don't do therapy, I think you should do therapy. And I feel like people that say therapy doesn't work for them, I feel like you haven't found your person. Because for me, it took me a while. It took me a while to find my person. But I think it's because I didn't know what I was looking for. But after going through 2 or 3 people before I found my person, it was just like, okay, I know I want a Black woman. I know I want somebody who's, like, knows the word, or at least knows some of it, or goes to church. I feel like that was like 2 of the main things that I was looking for. And I went on this website called Black Girl Therapy or something like that. I'm putting in the description. But I went to that website and I just started looking. And I probably was looking for 3 days straight. 3 days straight. And until I found who I was going, like, who I wanted to go through. I feel like it's like an interview process. The consultation is like an interview process to figure out, like, if this is the person that you want, So they pretty much tell you who they are, what they do, how they do it, what would their approach be. So I feel like that's how you'll know. So I feel like the ones who don't feel like therapy is for them, I feel like you just haven't found your person. And I feel like sometimes we feel like we know what to do, we know how to heal ourselves. Sometimes that's not always the case. I feel like I have two therapists, God and my therapist that I have. So I feel like you should keep that in mind. So it's not, if you want to just, like, just going to God is therapy itself. So whatever you want to do, I just feel like it works. It's working for me. I feel like even though I've been with her for a little bit of time, like it's probably going on a year. Yeah, it's probably a year now. I feel like we're just now diving into some things because, like I said, like I don't talk about a lot of stuff until years later. So things that I haven't spoken on as a kid that I've been through, like I'm just now talking to my therapist about it now. And she's probably the only person that I've ever talked to. Like she is the only person that I've ever talked to about these things. So yeah, so I just feel like those are a few things that you could do. Join some support groups. It's a lot of them on Facebook or LinkedIn, or just Google mom groups or grief counseling groups or anything like that. Google in your Google search bar, and you'll probably be surprised how many pop up that's near you. So whether like you want to do it for a day or just see how it goes, I think that would be a good idea. What's something else? My DMs are always open if you want to talk to me about it. I would love to talk to you about it. We can grieve together. I don't have any problem with that. I'm always open to doing things like that. I feel like I haven't really found my tribe or my community when it comes to that, or any type of community. So that's why I think this is another big part of why I'm doing this. So yeah, so my DMs are always open. Also, before I end this video, I do want to start like reading questions or reading advice letters and things like that. So if you have any questions for me, or if you have anything that you think I may have some kind of knowledge about, or you want to get some advice on, I will leave that email in the description for you to send it to, and I can read it up here, and we could just talk about it, and we could just talk about it in the comments. I can talk about it on camera, and then we could talk about it in the comments or something like that. So I would do that. And my advice, so every episode, I'm going to end it with advice on finding her way. And my advice for today is my favorite thing that I love to say. It's a word that I've been seeing so much within this whole year, and I'm getting it tatted on me. It's just to keep going. Just keep going. Like, life is so scary. Life is hard for a lot of us. Life is so unpredictable. Life is so traumatic, what it can be. But just keep going. Find your tribe. Find your tribe. Stay connected to your tribe. And just know, like, you can do that shit. Like, anything you want to do, you can do it. No matter what you've been through in life, no matter how bad it got or how bad it gets, like, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. It's ultimately up to you. And that's something I'm still working on. Like, just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. But that's all for this episode. I hope I didn't give y'all too much of an ugly cry meme. I hope I didn't do too much. But this was so therapeutic for me. Like I said, like I haven't talked about it in so long. Well, I don't think I talked about it ever, like I said, in depth like this. So this was new. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed getting off my chest. I enjoyed talking about it. I really enjoyed talking about it. But thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share us with somebody you feel that may have been through what I've been through, or may have, just even experienced just a little bit about what I'm talking about in this episode. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, wonderful week, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. I hope you enjoyed and took at least one thing, if any, from this. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share us with a friend you know. Follow us on Instagram at Finding Her Way Pod, and send us letters or questions to askfhw@gmail.com. We hope to hear from you in the next episode.